Hello everybody, it's September 12th, 2022. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. First up, what I said on Friday. Basically, as long as Bitcoin is above 20,250, I was expecting higher. We had fulfilled what I was expecting, the breakdown region right here. Did that, hit the 19K area. And as of last Wednesday, we had that micro 5-way up, and I was all in on crypto again during that little pullback to the 19K region. Looking good on those buys, including the half dozen alts that I own. And I said I'm going to put the alternate scenarios on the back burner. I still plan on doing that. I'm going to talk about the main scenarios here, but just keep in mind there's a bearish possibility. If this starts breaking down, we'll have to discuss that. But at the moment, primary scenario is that we have struck that larger second wave bottom, and we're in the beginning stages of the third wave, which should have a target of about 32.6, but could potentially go higher. And then in the micro, we'd probably seen 1 and 2 and possibly all of 3 of that first wave. I'll show you what I mean there. But basically, I was looking for this area on Friday, 22.2 to 23K. You can see right now that's where we are. We're within that region. Now, it's a little fuzzy whether or not the third wave has extended and we still have to go higher in the fifth. But regardless, I think we are pretty well on our way to proving the bottom is in once again. And then, from this area, whenever we do pull back to about 21K is probably what we're going to see. All right, so let's go over all of that. So first of all, we have the 5-wave leading diagonal off of the low back here. It did strike the minimum requirement, these 5 waves right here, to form wave 1. Right? And then I was looking at a pullback, ABC, which should have held in this region, went just slightly below that, not enough to invalidate it, so that's perfectly fine, and it hit the C wave target pretty beautifully anyway. And then that forms our micro 2, and so from there we've got our fib extension drawn. That's the dim blue fib extension here, and that has our target up here of somewhere in that 32.6 region for wave 3. Then we'd pull back for wave 4 and head up one more time into the upper 30s, somewhere around 37 at the moment is what we would expect. All right, so as I've discussed before, once we have a wave 1 and a wave 2, the micro 1 and 2 of this wave 3 ideally goes to the 618, that's this area right here, 22.9, and then pulls back to the 382, that's that 21 area right there, and then begins the move up strongly for that third wave. So that's what I'm expecting to happen right now. Whether we've struck the top or not is a little bit unclear, but I think we probably have one more push up to get just a little closer to that 23K region based on how this looks right now. Okay, so zooming in on the micro, we're trying to figure out what's going on here. This move right here was 5 waves. It's what made me go back all in on crypto in that box right there. That's where I rebought everything. So I have a significant cushion here before I even have to start worrying about selling basically, and so I think that's obviously our 1 and our 2, and then the real question is this our 3 and 4? It didn't quite hit that wave 4 box, it just missed it, so I was assuming that we were continuing higher. Like I thought maybe that was going to be the top of 3, maybe we'd see a deeper pullback there and then up for 5, but obviously it's just continued upwards. And so at this point in time, I think the most likely scenario is that this was in fact that micro 3, this was in fact the micro 4, and we're now making an ending diagonal for this 5th wave. And within that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working on 5 basically. Real tiny, all within that larger fifth wave. This is kind of what I'm expecting to happen, or potentially maybe that's not 4, maybe 4 is over here. It doesn't really matter, but in either case, it looks like probably one more high is likely, because it doesn't quite look complete yet, but it could be. So our target for that 5, if 5 equals 1 and we actually hit here, yeah, it's pretty much that 22.8, 22.9 area. So that lines up with a whole bunch of other things saying, that, like I said, in the macro, more macro viewpoint, that's the 618. So that's a great target area there, 22,982 to be exact. Now things often are not exact. We can see it get nearly there or kind of go past it a little bit and then see the pullback from that point. But anywhere in that region, I think, is reasonable to expect. And let me just double check that I have these boxes right based on that 3 and this being 2. This is the box here. My bad. I had moved it up because, as I said, I thought maybe 3 was extending. So technically, we've already potentially fulfilled that. So like I said, it can be done at any time here, but the micro just does look like it might need one more slightly higher, but it's not necessary. That could be the end of that fifth wave there. So if you push a little higher up into that, a little closer to 23, I wouldn't be surprised, but it may just drop from here. And essentially, if we start seeing this break down that channel, then I think the top is already in at that point. And yeah, that fourth wave box is right. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this fib now. All right, so let's, for a moment, let's just talk about what if the top is already in. What are we going to look at? Well, typically, you're going to see a pullback between the 382 and 618 region. That's anywhere in that area right there. 20,878 down to 19.8 would be like normal. It can extend even lower down here, 764. I am considering this move impulsive, and so I wouldn't really expect it to break down much below that. In a leading diagonal situation, like we had, in the macro chart, I was saying because this is so messy, overlapping, and diagonal, we may see a really deep breakdown, and we did in fact see that. This, however, looks more impulsive, and so I would expect a slightly shallower pullback. It can still go down, as deep as the 618, but that's kind of, where I'd expect it to stop. Now, it really doesn't break anything if it does go further, as long as it stays above 18,900. But pretty much what I'm going to be watching for is how this pullback forms. I want to see 3 waves down like this. If we see that, that's fantastic. That means this is a great target to rebuy or to long somewhere in the 20K region up to 21. But again, keep in mind that as this pushes up, if we get another high, up here, closer to that 22.8 area, then this gets dragged up slightly as well. So that may in fact pull us upwards. And again, as I mentioned, the real target for on the macro is we go 618 to 382. And so it may in fact just hit the very top of that green box, not actually go all that deep, right around that 21K area. But essentially, anywhere between 20 and 21, I would say, is a fairly good risk-reward buying opportunity. And your stop should really be below, it can either be below that low, or if you want to go a little bit higher up, you can go below the 886. So, can stop below 18.5 or below 18.9. Or if this pulls up a little further, then, that comes up a little further too. We could be still in that 18.9 region though. So anyway, that's what I'm looking for. in the micro here, a little 1-2 action. And then we really should see a significant move from that pullback. Assuming this forms as 3 waves into that box, the next move up is likely to take us to the 1, 2, 3, 6, about 28.5. Then we get another little pullback, then a nice big push up, and that gets us more into that 32.6 region. So spot buys I am holding. Leverage longs I'm not in. I will look to leverage in that region though if we do get that pullback. And that is pretty much how I plan to play this. And we're just going to watch out basically for an impulse down in the larger sense. Like this should form, as I said, ABC. A can be 5 waves, and C is going to be 5 waves. And that's fine as long as C equals A and doesn't go too much further. If instead we see something that looks like this and we get like a big third wave down, breaking support, then the bounce after that would probably be the place to get protective, because we may end up making a 5th wave down. I don't believe that's what's going to happen. I think that's unlikely, but it's just something we need to watch for. And we'll basically need to update our portfolio and our strategy based on if that happens or not. But that is not my primary expectation at this time. Primary expectation is likely we hold above 20K. Maybe we dip down just slightly below it, but honestly I think probably 21 even is going to hold here. And we may just get one more micro high in the meantime. All right, everybody, I believe that's all I've got for you. I will talk to you all on Friday.